welcome back to another week of Pigskin Pick'em. I'm Bennett Rayner, and let's go over our picks. We'll start off with Jacob.
Dude, I did terrible last week.
I think we all can agree with you on that. I think we all did bad.
Like, I did really bad, so what I'm really trying to continue is making really ballsy picks and hoping for the best. And it's going to be my strategy for the rest of the year. So we're going to start it off with a dandy down in Tallahassee. We got Clemson favored by 16.5 currently over Florida State. FSU 7-2 in the last 9 meetings. Very, very similar passing offense yardage-wise. Looking at it, I think Clemson's 32nd in the nation in passing yards, and Florida State's 34th. I think it really is going to come down to defense. I think this game's going to be a lot closer than the spread's saying it's going to be. It's a rivalry game. It's at Florida State, and Florida State leads the ACC in sacks. So freshman quarterback on the road in a big stadium and a good defense that's getting a lot of pressure to the quarterback. I mean, I like the chances for it to be closer than the spread says, so I got FSU in that one. Then I got Vandy at Arkansas because
the
Pig has been calling my name all year long.
How's that been working for you?
And it ain't been working well.
Yeah.
Worked for me last week.
This week.
Oh.
I got Vandy. They're favored by 1.5 on the road. I mean, Vandy's got more total yards this year. Man, Arkansas is 0-11 against the spread following games with a straight-up win, which they had a win last week. A lot of things coming their way. Arkansas's quarterback's also coming off. He was injured last week, so he's probable to play, but that's always kind of a risk thing, and their quarterback's not really that good. They don't have a good offensive line. Arkansas is also allowing 32.3 points per game, and Vandy's allowing only 24, and Vandy's just got a good quarterback. Arkansas doesn't play good defense. Give me Vandy by 7. I mean, at the end of the day. Last, also another SEC game. Might be a lot of SEC games this week.
SEC guy.
Hey. We got Kentucky.
SEC guy.
Yeah, big SEC guy. Kentucky at Mizzou. Mizzou favored by 7, and I'm taking the Wildcats. I don't think Missouri's quarterback's – I think he's good. I think he'll be better in the NFL than he will be in college. But, Kentucky's having them a year. They struggled last week against Vandy, but they're pretty darn good. And Kentucky is second in points against. I mean, they're only allowing 3 points a game. That's a stellar defense. I mean, Missouri's got a good offense, but they're 91st in that same stat as Kentucky. They're allowing 30 points a game. Benny Snell's going to go off. I mean, he's a kid. I really like Kentucky by a lot in this. Those are my 3.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of talk about that Kentucky team. I mean, their defense really doesn't get a lot of credit because of that offense, because of Snell. But they do have a solid defense, so I mean, I like that.
They are the leader of their division, so
yeah.
It's a 3-way tie.
I mean, you can say that all you want, but that's still leading down the division.
It's a 3-way tie. We all got one loss.
It's not the SEC West, of course, but
yeah, because the SEC's got 3 people that are 1 loss.
All right, we get it. You guys love the SEC. All right.
And Bama's just going to win.
I like that Clemson-Florida State pick, though. I think Florida State has shown that they have a good D-line and that they can put pressure on the quarterback. And I think
Florida State's a lot better
quarterback on the road to a place as big as Florida State is going to break.
Florida State has a lot to prove. I think this will really show it, but
if they can pull off the upset against a very overrated Clemson team.
I guess we were wrong about NC State. They're not that good, but I still am in the belief that Clemson's overrated. And are they second in the country? Clemson's number 2, aren't they?
Yes.
Number 2 ain't been doing so hot these past couple weeks. Put them on upset alert big time.
Yeah, let's rush the field and beat Syracuse by 1 point.
Yeah. I'll hand it over to you, Zach. Let's get to your 3. What do you got going on?
All right, well, I got over in the Big Ten. I got Iowa at Penn State. I think Penn State is a very overrated team. I don't think they should be ranked. They have shown that. They lost to Michigan State, which isn't that much of a better team. And I think Iowa is the actual good ranked team. They're ranked 21st, I think, something like that. And they always give a good fight against Penn State, and that's going to force Penn State to pass, which they're not as good passing as they are rushing.
Definitely that pass game hasn't been the same compared to last year, from what I remember.
You see that Penn State Iowa game? That's usually a key matchup. Those two teams. I mean, I think the biggest factor that's going to be Happy Valley. I mean, just at Penn State with that crowd. I mean, Penn State always does well at home. Iowa always does well at home. I think that's really going to give them the advantage. Iowa usually picks apart Penn State's defense. Penn State usually seems to struggle, but I mean, it'll be a really good game.
This is a very Iowa likely game to win. Iowa always finds a big win somewhere in the season. I mean, it was Ohio State last year, was it not? I mean, I don't know who they've really beat this year, if they've already got that win, but why not? If they already got it, why not let them get it? I don't pay attention to the Big Ten. I don't really know what's going on in there. But
well, next I got South Florida at Houston. I think Houston's a good team. They've shown some promise, but I think the spread currently is at 7, and I think Houston will probably win most likely, but I don't think that they're going to win by more than a touchdown. Yeah, I think they'll be lucky if they get it by a touchdown. I think a field goal win is going to be all that happens.
Both those teams have kind of been struggling through the AAC. The few games I have seen of both of them, it's just kind of one of those things where I feel like that game, the spread might be a little too deep, and I'm with you. This might be a lot closer, contested game.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's a good one to throw your money on the dog on that one. Call your bookie. Call your bookie. I think right now, out of my picks and your picks, call your bookie on UCF and the Clemson game.
Yeah,
I think those are two good games to put a little money on because it's a deeper spread than it probably should be. But I'll let you get to your third game.
Well, last but probably least, Miami at Boston College. Boston College, of course, was ranked earlier in the season, I believe, but then they had a big loss against the SU team that beat Ohio State the other day.
Woo! Woo!
Go Boilermakers.
Ohio State.
He did.
But
yeah, I think
Miami.
Miami, of course, has had a couple big losses starting off the season against LSU. They just got pounced on.
Yeah.
Just horrible.
Yeah.
Just real bad. I think that Miami has a better defense, one of the best defenses in the ACC other than Clemson. I'll give credit. Clemson does have a pretty decent defense.
I mean, Clemson's arguably got one of the best D-lines in the country.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I gotta give them credit. They're probably second in defense in the ACC, and Boston College really isn't anything. They can win a couple games every now and then, but they're not a real contender when it comes to the ACC anymore. It's not their heyday anymore.
Yeah.
I
A struggling program that was supposed to be on its way back, but
it had a great season last year, but fell short at the end.
Yeah, it's just not happening right now.
I mean, Boston College, they're never really contenders, but they always seem to screw everything up in the ACC. I mean, there's always some win that throws something off. They compete, but they can't pull anything out. The ACC is just not their conference for them, I guess. But
I mean, honestly, they're a lot like Kentucky. They have a couple good seasons every now and then, and they can pull out some big wins. But when it comes down to it, they struggle too much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had originally picked that game, but I decided to change it because Boston College was just too iffy for me, and the spread was only 3 points. So.
No, I'm with you. It definitely was a game that caught my eye this week. That UCF game, I almost did that game. And yeah, it was just kind of too much of a toss-up for me to really kind of feel comfortable with going with one or the other.
Yeah.
If it was the other way, I probably would have for sure taken it. Because I like Houston to win, but I don't like Houston to cover.
Yeah.
So it's just another one of those games. Which one of you boys is next on the
That'd
lineup?
be good old Cameron.
That'd be me. All right, so here we go. We're going back to the Big Ten here. We got Michigan State versus Purdue. Two teams I didn't really want to pick from, but here we go. Michigan State's favored by 2.5. I like Michigan State in this game. Purdue had a big win against Ohio State last week, and they're on a 4-game win streak. Although they also have a loss from Eastern Michigan. So I mean, they still have kind of they still struggle. And I mean, stat wise, it is just not in Purdue's favor at all. I mean, Purdue's
they didn't struggle against Ohio State, that's for sure.
Yeah, I know, but Purdue still lined up 10 more points than Michigan State, over 200 more yards on defense. I mean, Michigan State lets up 100 yards less than them in total defense. I mean, it's just Michigan State's a good team, especially going back to Spartan Stadium in East Lansing.
Especially
Old Sparty.
last week.
That's, after there's always conversation after big wins and losses on how teams rebound. Because it is, I know you'd rather be the team that just had the huge win, but it does change your locker room because it can cause a lot of confidence.
You take a huge loss, you play a lot better the next week.
You usually play better the next week after a big loss. And after a big win, teams are known to be lackadaisical. So that's where I'm iffy on Purdue. I wish I'd have known the experts were calling that upset a little sooner on Ohio State. I probably would have picked the game last week and not have gone over. But I'm kind of with you. I don't know how consistently good Purdue's going to be. And Michigan State's, they're not the best team, but they've played pretty consistent all year. You know what you're going to get.
Purdue has.
You know what you're going to get.
They've lost some games, but those games they've lost, they've competed. They gave Michigan a lot of problems in that first half, and it's just
do anything on offense. And
so did the Lightning, Cam.
Against Michigan. Both teams played great defense. It
really was a slugfest.
It was
for the first half. A little bit third quarter too.
But
I said they wrecked Michigan. I said the Lightning wrecked Michigan too.
All right, what's your next game there, bud?
All right, second, we're going to the West Coast. We got Arizona State and USC. USC is actually a 6.5 point favorite for this. I like the dog in this game. I got Arizona State winning. Points per game, all pretty close. Yards per game, all really close. Points per game is 27.4 compared to USC's 26. And then the yards allowed is 381, and then USC, they have 387. So, defensively, they both really struggle. But USC, they're traditionally power run team. They kind of adopted more to that West Coast offense, but they still like to run that ball. But Arizona State, they really like to spread out the field. They got a really talented quarterback.
Pretty solid wide receiving core from what I know.
I like that pick, Cam. It's a good pick.
I'm with you, mainly because USC's just giving me fits all year. With games, I think both times I've picked USC, it has just not gone well for me.
Yeah.
But Arizona State's one of those teams that I think is better than their record shows.
And they're better than what a lot of people write them off to be.
They've been shown to be that team in the Pac-12 that'll come out of nowhere and
get that big win. They're the Iowa of that conference.
Or the Iowa State.
I do like that pick a lot. There's a lot of talent on that offense, and you can move the ball and score points in that league. You're gonna get a win. That's an offense league. So
I definitely think Herm gets the job done for Arizona State. So that's my second pick. Lastly, we got Texas A&M versus Mississippi State.
Ooh.
This was weird. This is why I picked this game, because Texas A&M is ranked what in the country now? 16th, I believe it was.
Somewhere around there.
And then Mississippi State's unranked or ranked like late 20s or something. Yeah. But Mississippi State's favored in this game. So it's a 2.5 point favor for Mississippi State, which was really weird.
They're coming off a big week.
They need more cowbell.
Yeah.
That's one thing. It is in Mississippi State, so I was kind of hesitant, but I have A&M in this game.
Last week I felt like television was really lacking without Texas A&M playing. I've enjoyed watching their football team this year.
Yeah.
I think that's
not their coach, just their football team.
Can't stand him.
Yeah,
Jimbo, I don't have nice things to say about Jimbo.
I don't.
I like A&M, even though they're on the road. They're a talented football team. They've hung close with good teams and
exactly
games.
Should have beat Clemson.
Got rocked.
A&M's just played a really tough schedule this year.
Kentucky.
They're a good team, and so is Mississippi State. Mississippi State usually finds wins to pull out, but I like A&M.
Nick Fitzgerald hasn't progressed like I thought he would. I thought he was going to be a talented senior quarterback this year. I watched him play in person last year, even though we routed him. He still had a good pocket presence, and He just can't. The passing game's not there.
Yeah.
It's non-existent.
He
And
almost
A&M's
led an
got a
upset
pretty-
against Alabama last year.
Yeah, but that defense isn't that good compared to A&M's D.
Mhm.
It's just a better defense, and they're not scoring. So give me A&M in that game.
Yes, sir.
Bennett, what you got?
West.
Holding up the rear still.
Yep.
Huh?
You're holding up the rear still. What you got? Down by 1.
Coming off a pretty decent week.
Only one that got more than 1 point.
Army let me down though. It was 21-7, and then I don't know what happened.
They fell apart. That's what happened.
Yeah.
Triple option doesn't win.
Unfortunately.
But first pick, I believe it's Illinois, Maryland. I believe I went with Illinois. It's a 18.5-point spread in favor of
That now.
huh?
I think it's higher than that now.
In favor of Maryland. That's a really high number.
Yeah.
I don't think that Maryland's going to win by that much. I feel like Illinois is a better team than that. I really don't think that their defense is going to put up or let up more than whatever the spread is.
I remember it being a large spread, but both teams are undefeated against the spread in their last 5 games following a loss. But I'm kind of with you. I just think the spread's a little too large for Maryland to cover. They're not that good of a football team. And,
Maryland isn't that effective.
Yeah. It's just you and those crap big spread picks. Something about them. They bug me, and you're probably going to get that one. But what you got next there, bud?
I have the Fighting Irish versus Navy, and
That's
every single time.
sitting at 23.5 right now.
and my money is going to be on the midshipmen for that game.
That's a
Really?
Great
choice.
pick.
That's a
It
great
is
pick.
a great pick.
They almost beat them last year.
Yep.
The Irish are on full-out upset alert. The
Yeah.
Irish are 1-4 against the spread in their last 5 meetings against Navy.
And I think it'll happen. As much as I am a Notre Dame fan, I think it's going to happen that Navy's going to pull this one off.
I'm totally with you. Something about this game reminds me of Ohio State and Purdue last week. I just got a feeling that it's going to go in favor of
The underdog in that one, because it's the same situation. They're walking in way too lackadaisical. They think that it's just going to be a walkthrough, basically. Team that's not expected to do anything against them. But Purdue proved Ohio State wrong, and I think that Navy is going to come out swinging.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you there. What you got for the last game?
Last one, I know me and you fought over,
Yep.
but I have Texas and OSU.
3.5 points.
3.5-point spread. I got to go with Texas. I think they are full on back.
I was looking at the spread, and I believe I picked Texas as well. I mean, I didn't get the game, but I believe I picked Texas as well. They're the favorite, and the favorite is 8-1 against the spread in the last 9 meetings. The road team is also 9 against the spread in the last 11, obviously. So Texas being the favorite